Hi guys, thank you for joining us in yet another episode of Mama Kebobo Jikoni. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've subscribed. Today we'll be doing mandazi, yogurt mandazi. It's one of my favorite things to have in the morning. Quick, simple, yum, 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 yum. But before we get there, I want us to do something, an experiment I've been trying to see if it works, but I've never gotten around to doing it, and I'm sure most of you also haven't. And what I want to do today, I want to try the hacks I've been reading online about how to clean up used oil, how to clean up so you can recycle it and cook something else with it. So with me here right now, I have oil that I used to deep fry chicken. So of course it has that flavor and aroma of chicken, but if I wanted to use this oil to do something else like mandazi, it would be very, very hard to use because it has that chicken flavor in it, and it's not something necessarily I want to see or feel in and taste in my mandazi, right? So I'm gonna try some of the hacks, and the two popular ones that have been coming around, I've been seeing online to use a lemon, lime, or something acidic in the oil while it's hot, fry it for a couple of minutes and take it out, and apparently according to the hacks, the oil should be odorless and clean enough to use for your next meal. The next one is to use a piece of fresh ginger, which I have with me right now. So without further ado, let's get trying and see if they work. I honestly do not know whether they're gonna work or not, but hey, why not try together, right? Genuinely curious. So let's get started. I have two pans so we can do them head to head. It's faster, and we also get to try and see which one does the trick faster, assuming they do actually. So the oil is cold, so I can do this safely, but if you can't, use a measuring cup to do that, to just pour the oil in the pan without splattering all over or hurting yourself, if it's possible. It's not with cold oil. So we're just gonna give these a minute or two to heat up. We don't want it too hot. Apparently you're supposed to just have it warm or medium hot. Then we go ahead and put in the pieces. So I honestly don't know how much lemon I need, so I think I'll try with 2 pieces of 2 wedges of lime in one pan, and about 2 inches of fresh ginger in the other one. I hope it works. Let's see. I'll give my genuine observation and feedback after we are done. But right now, let's just do this together, okay? So the first one, we'll put the ginger. I don't know actually how much you're supposed to put, but I think that should be enough. But let's just work with that. And oh my God. Okay, that happened. So guys, this is a minute in, and I can tell you, just for your safety, the one with the lemon is violently going at it, while the ginger one is quietly not getting all over the jiko and everywhere. So be very, very careful with the lemon one. I'm guessing it's from all the water and the juices from the lemon, while the ginger is a bit dry. So I think that should be it. A minute in, let's take the pieces out and wait for the oil to cool down, and then we'll be able to know if it still has that aroma from the previously fried item in the oil. All right, here's my ginger. My ginger is out, and our lime pieces are out. So my heat is now off for both. I'm just gonna give it a couple of minutes for it to cool down as I clean up the mess over here, and then try and see if it's still, see if it's now clean. Apparently this is supposed to work. If the oil retains that aroma from the previously fried item, which in my case was chicken, then we'll know the hacks did not work. But if it works, they'll be nice, because then we're gonna recycle this oil and cook something else with it, okay? Couple minutes, I'll be right back. So guys, here we are. This was quite an interesting journey, I must say. But here are my observations, all right? This is the oil that had the lime in it. You can already see the, those small pocket of juiciness here. And this is very clean. This is the one that had ginger. This is our ginger. It looks like fries. Fresh ginger, fried ginger. This is the lime. We put 2 pieces of fresh lime and 2 wedges, and here they are. So the results, according to me, please feel free to try this experiment at home and let me know your observations. But I can tell you for sure, when we compare with the original oil that had this very strong aroma from the fried chicken, previously used, to fry the chicken, these ones are pretty good. The one that we used lime with has a little bit of the aroma left, very barely noticeable, but it's there. The one that had ginger is completely gone. And another thing to note is that the one that had lime in it was very hard to do because it kept splattering all over the surfaces, and it's a bit dangerous to do that one because you might just burn yourself. You might just burn yourself with the hot oil. So I would recommend don't try this at home, or if you're gonna try, be careful and be aware already. While the one with ginger was calm, quiet, not much happened, and the results are amazing. So honestly, my recommendation would be if you need to clean up oil from a previous cook and you want to recycle it into something else, use the ginger method. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you try these and if your findings are similar to mine or you get something different, okay? So on my right is the mandazi ingredients that we are about to use, because we are about to go and do mandazi, yogurt mandazi. So get your stuff ready. We are about to do this quick, fast, yum, yum, yum as always. But give me a second, I clean up this mess and then we get started. All right, it was actually a lot of fun doing this. We'll be doing a lot more myth busting. So if you know any hacks that people have been talking about in the kitchen and you'd like me to try them for you, let me know them down below the comment section and I'll get to that. All right, give me a second. Hey guys, now here we are doing the mandazi, and this is everything you need. By the way, to be honest, mandazi is one of the most versatile recipes I know. You can go crazy, you can add the things you like, you can do away with the things that you don't want. You can basically make this recipe your own and get your own signature end product according to your taste preferences and all that. So here we are. Whatever I'm seasoning with, feel free to adjust to your liking, of course. This is how I like mine done, so let's do this. This is 5 cups of self-raising flour. Self-raising means it has all-purpose flour added a raising agent to it. In this case, it's baking powder. But if you don't have, feel free to use all-purpose flour and then add in baking powder. So 5 cups, and I'm using the measuring cup, 250 ml for 1 cup. So do 5 of those. Here, it's just the extra flour we'll need when kneading. And for the things that are gonna go to our mandazi, we have 1 cup of yogurt. This is vanilla yogurt. You can use any strawberry, you can use natural yogurt, just any yogurt you can get. And we have 1 cup of milk. You can feel free to substitute these with 1 cup of water, but milk works fine. In this recipe, you're not gonna need water. We have a 3rd cup of sugar. Again, feel free to adjust that to your liking. And we have our seasoning, which is chai masala. And we're talking about my brand of chai masala. It's called Mama Kebobo Jikoni chai masala. Feel free to use cardamom, lemon zest, cinnamon, cloves. You can literally adjust these to any flavor you want to go in there. The reason I like to use the chai masala is because you're not just getting one flavor. It's not like cardamom where you're getting just the cardamom flavor. In this chai masala, you will get cinnamon, you get the cardamom, you get the ginger, you get the cloves. You have so much going on in there that it's just a burst of flavor. All right, so without further ado, let's knead this into a dough. We have, of course, butter. This is very optional in this recipe. You can use cooking oil, you can just omit it all together. But I like that buttery taste in my mandazi. By the way, again, like I said, you can just go crazy. You can even add eggs if you want, but I don't like. So I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of butter. And just rub it in. It's very cold, which is a good thing because it will give us an end product that is very crumbly, so you don't have like chewy mandazi. So just rub it in until it's all incorporated in the flour. It's always advisable to mix all the dry ingredients first before you dig into the wet ones. So let's add our sugar and the seasoning, chai masala, as we rub in the butter. The aroma is already very exciting at this point. Once you feel like all the butter has been incorporated in the flour, we are going to start with the yogurt because it's thicker, and then use the milk, which is light, to regulate the dough consistency. So we just dump in all the yogurt. By the way, for this recipe, you can also use maziwa mala. I just prefer the yogurt because it's a bit sweeter, while mala is a bit tangy. You know, the soury taste, it's not something I want in my mandazi, as in this recipe. I generally like mandazi because they're fast to make, because once we're done making the dough, kneading it, we are gonna just put it on fire. Oh, by the way, I forgot to light my fire. So our oil is over there getting hot. We want it medium hot because we don't want the mandazis to, you know, brown on top and not cooked through. And then now finally let's do our milk. You can do water at this point. But like I said, in this recipe we are not using water. I want my mandazi like really tasty. Keep adding to your preference, but don't make like a really tough dough, because then it's gonna be problematic when you're done. If you feel like you also need to add more milk, go right ahead. Now the next thing we are going to do is just pour these onto our surface. It's clean, by the way. Make sure it's always clean. Then we can proceed to knead the dough properly. It gets very restricting when you're working in a small bowl. So that's everything in there. Just clean up. The surface is best to work with because it also gives you a chance to use both your hands without, you know, the fear of everything falling apart. Don't worry at this point, don't add more liquid. It's gonna come together beautifully. If you rush to add in more liquid, you will have to add more flour, which is very unnecessary. So just work with the measurements I've given, unless absolutely necessary to add more. See? The idea is to bring this together until everything is sticking together. So you won't have any of these lying around. And by the way, I've said this before in Upishi Zone. If you don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram, please do. You'll learn a lot of kitchen hacks and tricks. If you ever feel the need to add more dough when you're kneading something, don't ever add directly to the dough. It just makes it hard unnecessarily. Always dust the dough, the flour on your hands or the surface like this, and then put the dough back in. That way you don't have to keep balancing between having too much dough and then having to add more water, and then the whole cycle goes on and on. Once everything has come together, it's usually perfect to go. And also alternate between dusting the flour on your hands and oiling your hands a little bit. Sometimes the problem is not the dough, it's sticking to your hands. So when you add a little bit of oil on your hands, it gives the dough the chance to be relaxed without sticking to your hands. I hope you can see at this point how clean my hands are. So we keep going without adding anything extra. And then in a minute or so, we'll be spreading it and cutting it and frying it in this oil that is already getting hot. So this should take you under 10 minutes, honestly, to do. From the dough to frying to having it on your plate, 15 minutes is enough, which is why mandazi is one of my favorite things to have, because it's fast, it's quick, it's yummy. I like to do this so I can involve my kids while making mandazi. With one ball, I just do straight up square shapes, and the other one, I let my kids, use all the cookie cutters to make different shapes, animal shapes, love shapes, all the available cookie cutters out there, we have them. So this is one of those recipes that you really want to bring in your kids to help with the cutting and having fun, because it also makes them feel like they're part of the process and helps them have the meals and enjoy the mandazi without trouble. So this is gonna be for the kids. This is for mommy. Remember what I said, if you need extra flour, make sure it's going to the surface, the rolling pin, and your hands, never directly to the dough. You don't need your dough dry and hard unnecessarily because you put flour in it. Let's test if our oil is hot enough by just putting a little bit in the oil and see how fast it comes up. It's bubbling properly. You need it to come up. Yes, that. If it comes up in under 10 seconds, then you know your oil is hot enough. If it stays at the bottom, then you want to let your oil heat a little bit more before you add the rest of them. So, and like I said, remember mandazi is one of those recipes where you need your oil not to be too hot because they will get a lot of color outside and yet you're not cooked through inside. Okay, so let's just cut this up. When that happens, by the way, just feel free to flour the rolling pin a little bit so that it doesn't stick to your dough. Cookie cutter, if you don't have these, you can use your knife. It's fine. But this just makes the life a lot easier in the kitchen. So I like to do this when I'm starting. I like to fry the little bits, separately, just to test whether the oil is hot enough. And as you can see, they're coming up very fast, so the oil is hot enough. Then I try with the ugly betties. Those corner pieces that are not exactly perfect squares, start with those ones. They will help you gauge how much time they are taking to cook through. Then you know whether to cook these ones in batches or all of them at the same time. Remember to do this safely. If you're not sure you can do that, just place on your this and just put them back in. The slotted spoon is supposed to help you with that. Place your mandazi there and just put them in the oil like that. If you're not sure, you can drop them in safely with your hands. We want to be safe. Also, here's another tip. Keep turning them. Don't just drop them and wait for them to overly brown on one side before you turn. Keep turning them so they evenly cook and get a good, nice golden brown color. The end result mandazi are going to be crusty on top and very soft inside, but the flavors are just gonna be bursting in your mouth. See that? Again, if you want a deeper brown color, you can give them some couple of seconds more. So here we go. So for the guys that lift the slaughter spoon like this, you end up leaving the oil in the places where they don't have the holes. So always tilt it to one side like this, so everything slants on one side. So between the holes and the slanting, all the oil, or at least most of it, it's taken out. You don't want your mandazi dripping oil while having them. It beats the purpose of having them crusty on the outside if they're still gonna be soggy and oily. Like, honestly guys, how fast was that? You just get in your kitchen, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're done with the dough, and your oil has been heating up as you prepare the dough. You just fry them. So here we go. Always give the oil at least 30 seconds for the temperatures to come right up before you add the next batch. Again, here is a safe way to slide in your pieces in hot oil. Always slide them at the ends so they can just slide right in the oil, as opposed to dropping them randomly in the middle. If you feel like all the edges have been taken up, use the slotted spoon to push them to the middle so you can still slide in some more. I hope you see what I'm doing, sliding them right in so I don't have oils coming up to burn me. I don't want the splatter. Please don't overcrowd the pan, because if you do, the temperature will come down a lot and they will start absorbing the oil because they're not hot enough. And some of them will cook too much while some will not cook enough. So don't overcrowd the pan. Cook them in batches. Patience, people, patience. If you're not sure whether they are cooked through, you can always take one out and check the middle. If the middle is still doughy and soft, then you know you need to let the rest cook a little bit more. But if it's all dry, let's try this one. See, like for example, this one is a little bit doughy. You see the way it's pulling? It's the pull tells you it's a bit doughy. It just needs like a second more to cook. Feel free to take it back in. Don't worry, it's all right. Because sometimes you get that beautiful color and they're not cooked through. So always check one. And if one tells you a story, listen. Because it was just a second extra that we needed. All the rest are cooked through. There we go. And by the way, if you feel like your oil is too hot, feel free to adjust the temperatures. Let's do that. And by the way, guys, mandazis don't have to be this particular shape. You can feel free to experiment on different shapes. Let me show you, for example. You can roll small balls like this. Of course, it takes much more time, but the end result will be worth it. Just roll each to about 8 centimeters diameter. Like I said, this is more work than just flat slicing them into squares. But you get something different when you're done. And then cut these into 4 and fry them as triangles. Another way, something I did recently, and it was quite interesting to have, the kids quite enjoyed. You can also roll your mandazi like this, or use the surface, and have them looking like sausages. Of course, you know they're mandazi, but they'll be in a different shape than traditionally the triangles and the squares. But like I said, you can be creative with this recipe to no end. There. You can use the cookie cutters to get the animal shapes, to get the love shapes, the flower shapes, and all those other shapes that are provided for. We can take these out because we put them before the other ones. They are our mini triangular shaped mandazis. There. Our sausage mandazis are still cooking. Let's try a different shape. We can have like cookies where you just do small balls and then flatten them with your palm like this and then just simply fry them. Gonna look like a party in here. And they're all mandazis. These are some of the ways to make your kids enjoy meals. Play with the shapes as long as you can without affecting their cooking time. Let's get the sausage like mandazis out. Let's do maybe 2 more, looking like cookies. Flatten them with the palm of your hand and simply fry them. Let's try one more that is a bit crazy. We are going to roll these out as much as we can. Let's see if it works. I've never done this before, but I've done the twisted donut, shakoi. So let's try something similar with our mandazi dough and see what we get. There are the round ones. So we have triangle, we have rectangle, we have square ones, we have the sausage-like ones, we have the round ones, and now we have the twisted ones. Let's see how these ones turn out. Like I said, feel free, go wild. They're all yours. Try something. Let's see, what can we make with this? I wonder, can we just make a knot? Sure. Let's see. There is no one way to make mandazi. Don't let someone tell you, oh, those are not mandazis because they look a certain way. No. They are all mandazi, just shaped differently to your liking. Okay, fire is off. Right, so let's get a taste of this. But can you guys hear that? It's crusty on the outside, very soft on the inside. Don't mistake this for those hard ngumus that you're not able to have. The idea is to have it crusty on the outside and very soft on the inside. Let's see how the inside looks like. Look at that. Very soft, moist. Let's have a taste. These are so good. You can taste everything from the butter to the vanilla milk to that burst of flavor from the chai masala. And importantly, they are cooked well. So yummy. They are gonna be a perfect complement to your either tea or milk or whatever you're serving them with. But guys, please do try this recipe. Let me know what you think. Did you have to adjust the salt? Sorry, the sugar, the spice? What did you like in this mandazi recipe once you tried it? Let me know. Thank you guys for joining us today on this recipe. I hope to see you in the next video. Let me go and enjoy mandazi. Thank you. Bye-bye.